The 12 are a youth leadership team based in the Diocese of Leeds that are committed to making change, to voicing and acting on the concerns and wishes of other young people in the diocese.
So the 12 are a group of young people that collaborate with the bishop to make the diocese a better place from a young person's point of view.
So the 12 is a group of young people who work together to find out information on young Christians and to get them involved more deeply in their faith.
We work to ensure that other young members of the church can actively have a say in the actions within the diocese so that they can shape it themselves for future generations.
The 12 is an organisation providing and facilitating the voices of the youth within the Leeds Diocese, working in collaboration with the bishop. The 12, the name being inspired by the 12 disciples, is an established group of young people that is ever growing.
The 12 is a group of young people in the Diocese of Leeds who are working together with the bishop and other leaders within the church to bring the voice of young people in everything that the church does, because as Pope Francis said, the young people are the church of today and not just of the future.
This idea of young people not just being the future, but actually being the now of God really struck the 12. Here's what Pope Francis said during his homily at World Youth Day in Panama in 2019.
Ustedes, queridos jóvenes, no son el futuro. Nos gusta decir, ustedes son el futuro. No, son el presente. No son el futuro de Dios. Ustedes jóvenes son el ahora de Dios. Él los convoca, los llama en sus comunidades, los manda, los llama en sus ciudades para ir en búsqueda de sus abuelos, de sus mayores, a ponerse de pie junto a ellos, tomar la palabra y poner en acto el sueño con el que el Señor los soñó. No mañana, ahora. E incluso a ustedes, queridos jóvenes, les puede pasar lo mismo cada vez que piensan que su misión, su vocación, que hasta su vida es una promesa, pero solo para el futuro y nada tiene que ver con el presente. Como si ser joven fuera sinónimo de sala de espera, de quien aguarda el turno de su hora. Y en el mientras tanto de esa hora, les inventamos o se inventan un futuro higiénicamente bien empaquetado y sin consecuencias, bien armado y garantizado y con todo bien asegurado. No queremos ofrecerles a ustedes un futuro de laboratorio. Es la ficción de la alegría, no la alegría del hoy, del concreto, del amor. Y así, con esta ficción de la alegría, los tranquilizamos, los adormecemos, para que no hagan ruido, para que no molesten mucho, para que no se pregunten ni nos pregunten, para que no se cuestionen ni nos cuestionen. Y en ese mientras tanto, sus sueños pierden vuelo, se vuelven rastreros, comienzan a dormirse. Son ensoñamientos pequeños y tristes, tan solo porque consideramos o consideran que todavía no es su ahora, que son demasiado jóvenes para involucrarse en soñar y trabajar el mañana. Y así lo seguimos procrastinando. ¿Y saben una cosa? Que a muchos jóvenes esto les gusta. Por favor, ayudémosles a que no les guste, a que se rebelen, a que quieran vivir el ahora de Dios.
I believe it's especially important for young people to have a voice because we are the adults of the future. I also think it's important that the voices of young people are heard because we often bring a fresh perspective to modern issues.
Personally, I joined the 12 because leadership is a skill that we are taught but rarely take action in with full effect. Joining the 12 has allowed me to take on responsibility, but with other young people, as we work together to help voice others' opinions. I believe strongly in having the voice of the youth heard, as young people are just as valued people in society as anyone else. Us as youth all have just as valid opinions as anyone else.
The 12 have regular meetings where we can develop our leadership skills and also how to present ideas to different people in the diocese.
Over the last few years, we have been fortunate enough to receive incredible training and guidance on presenting ideas, teamworking skills and leadership through workshops and group activities provided to us by the Leeds Diocese Youth Team.
We've developed many listening skills, many leadership skills and communication skills through our meetings.
We have had numerous meetings where we were encouraged to share and develop ideas, which has helped me grow more confident in speaking and communication. We have also had numerous stories told to us, for example, one on the persistent widow, which has helped me understand the importance of these skills.
As the 12, we work closely together as one, rather than individuals, as we all strive together to successfully voice the words of young people. In our meetings, we have looked at passages within the Bible and reflected on how we could apply the words that we read in the way that we lead.
We have also conducted surveys and questionnaires in order to find out more information regarding what young people think and what their hopes are for the diocese in the future. An example of this was when we were using this research to identify what our main aims should be and what we should focus on most.
In gathering the collective opinion of young people in our diocese, we circulated a questionnaire based on questions Bishop Marcus asked us to find the answer to. What lights your fire? What are young people in our diocese passionate about?
These surveys gave us information on how young people are involved in the diocese, and it also tells us how they would like changes to happen.
Currently, we are focusing on social action and communication in order to try and help the community to engage with young people in the diocese.
We have been supported by many people, such as the Chair of the Justice and Peace Commission, the Chair of the SBP Leeds, Catholic Engagement Officer for the Diocese, Director of Communications, and the Coordinator of Caritas Leeds, collectively learning from each other in the meetings that we have shared.
Meeting the bishop was a great experience for me because it went well and he took us seriously. He listened to all of our ideas and commented on them with positive feedback.
Meeting with Bishop Marcus was an inspiring experience because he was so genuinely interested in what we had to say. It filled me with the courage and the knowledge that we would probably also be taken seriously by others we would meet.
To meet the bishop was really exciting and inspiring because it's hard to talk to someone so important and high up, and it was especially nice to hear our views taken seriously.
It was an incredible experience to meet the bishop and to hear his opinions on what we are doing and how he could help us achieve our aims of social action and communication, and how we could help him in his aims of engaging with young people.
We have developed a strong link with Bishop Marcus since having been commissioned in 2019. We have met with him numerous times and contributed to the discussion around the impact on coronavirus on education, which was discussed by the Bishop with the Secretary of State for Education. So before the pandemic, the 12 was meeting regularly, almost on a monthly basis. And although that has continued on throughout the pandemic online, it's been perhaps a bit more difficult to, interact and really sort of think about our ideas.
During the pandemic, I found it challenging to stay fully engaged with faith and stuff because there hasn't been the same facilities such as masses constantly, and it's fine keeping your faith on fire during this time when you feel a bit low. So I think during the 12 I've been finding moments where I finding it hard to keep that motivation going, even though there's still so much going on. So I think with the 12, I think it's allowed me to like just stay confident with myself and carry on, and just it's okay to have those moments where you're just like, oh, I can't do this, and it's okay to have those moments where you can't understand anything. But I think I wish there was like not necessarily more support, but just like understanding with it with everyone, and just understanding that it's okay to not be okay.
The best thing about the 12 for me is that we are able to come together as a group and discuss about our diocese, and also being able to meet with important people, because the skills we are taught through the 12 to meet with these people will not only boost our confidence, but will also help us in later life.
All of my highlights have been the meetings, and especially the meeting with the bishop, because not many young people can explain their ideas about whatever they wanted, whatever issues are going on, to someone so high in a spiritual position. I have learned to speak out about my ideas, and I have learned to be the voice of other young people who aren't as fortunate as me to be involved in this group.
I've learned so much since being part of the 12, especially on how to present ideas and talk to people in a more confident and clear manner. Additionally, I have managed to deepen my own knowledge about the Christian faith and how I, working in a team, can help others.
One of the biggest highlights was meeting the bishop and meeting the other vital members of the diocese. It was very interesting to hear their goals to continue making the church a powerful place to go to. It was better still for us to be able to submit our own ideas to these figures. And then another highlight was the abilities and the skills we can take away from this. For example, speaking more confidently and being able to formulate our ideas more clearly. I have learned that people take you seriously, and so there is no point in being afraid in meeting them. I have also understood more about our church as a whole, witnessing their efforts firsthand.
For me, one of the key highlights of being in the 12 was when we met with the leaders of social action groups within the diocese, who invited us to take a leading role in advancing social action. This has made me optimistic for the future of the church, as it has taught me that in many areas the church is aligned with young people in wanting to tackle the same issues such as climate change, hunger and homelessness.
Meeting all the different people within the group has been a big thing for me, as it is a great experience to work with other people who have just as passionate opinions like me. I also appreciate the free food and the hot chocolate, but there has been something that the 12 has changed my mind about vastly, and that is how I view the divide between the young people and different generations. Before joining the 12, I felt that there was a huge divide in all of our ideas regarding the church and the world we're opposing, but the reality is much different. I have learned that we have more things in common than I thought, which was something I viewed so differently before. This collaboration with the ages is something I hope that is further strengthened in the future.
My hopes for the future, especially once we come out of lockdown, would be to interact face to face with even more young people all across our diocese. I would also love to attend and maybe even organise youth events together as the 12 in order to support the youth work that already happens in our diocese, as well as voicing new ideas about the direction we, as young people, would like to take these in the future.
My hopes for the future is that adults will understand that children can have a voice in religious things, and that they will be able to understand how to listen to young people's ideas.
My hopes for the future of the church is that it will continue to keep up the incredible work it does in guiding and supporting people in life on how to live and who to be. I'm really looking forward to seeing more young people get involved with the church and to have a platform to speak out and share their ideas.
And my future hopes for our diocese is that the 12, or a group that has a similar purpose to the 12, will continue long after we're gone, so that young people can always point out and change the few features that may restrict them from accessing our church.
My hopes for the church are that more young people will be inspired by groups like the 12 to come forward, so then their voice can be heard to then possibly make a change in their diocese or parish or school, so then they can feel more confident about being Catholic.
In the reflections, which Pope Francis wrote during lockdown and published in the book Let Us Dream. He says, "You have to make for the margins to find a new future." Here the Holy Father is setting an important challenge for the Church to prioritize listening to those whose voices are often not heard. We recognize that young people can feel at the margins if they're not given access to opportunities to grow in faith and leadership or contribute to decision making in the Church. Over the last 2 years, Caritas Leeds, the Diocesan Youth Service, and Leeds citizens have provided Christian leadership formation for an inaugural group of young Catholics to assist in planning and developing youth leadership in the Diocese of Leeds. Aged from 13 to 18 years old, all these young people have shown a commitment to service in their parish, school, or a Catholic organisation. This youth leadership group have been given the name the 12, to be inspired by the small group of apostles who, empowered by the Holy Spirit, transformed the history of the world when they took Christ's gospel to people all over the earth. It's important, though, that these young people take the lead in this initiative, for they, as Pope Francis says in Christus Vivit, are themselves agents of youth ministry. Certainly, they need to be helped and guided, but at the same time left free to develop new opportunities with creativity and a certain audacity. I was proud to formally commission the group in Leeds Cathedral and have had meetings with them to discuss their ideas on communication, social action, and the experiences of young people during the pandemic. This collaboration has allowed them to gain a deeper understanding of the work of the diocese, while helping them inform our decision making and our plans for the future. As Pope Francis has said, we cannot just say that young people are the future of our world. They are its present. Even now, they are helping to enrich us. They are at a time of life when they begin to assume a number of responsibilities, sharing alongside adults in the growth of the family, of society and the Church. My hope is, therefore, that the 12 will act as a catalyst for a flourishing of youth leadership in the many aspects of the work of this diocese, and that the enthusiasm and creativity of our young people will enrich the ministry and mission of all our clergy, religious, and our lay faithful.